Alright, guys. This is some real brain rot drama, but it's related to politics, and I think a discussion worth having to a degree. There's plenty of stuff here to talk about, so it's not total slop drama, okay? But I will say, there is some slop to be had here, for sure. There is slop. You see, the world of clouded up Twitch streamers, not one that I particularly inhabit. I don't really want to get involved with that space. It feels very cutthroat, very backstabby, and I've had my fill of that shit, so I'm fine in that department. I want nothing to do with it. But if you know anything about that sphere, you'll know that the largest, or one of the largest, streamers out there, period, is Pokimane. She is huge. She does pretty family-friendly, like, wholesome-y content, gaming to vlogs to travel stuff to, like, I think she has a podcast, maybe arts and crafts stuff. I don't know what else she does, but, like, she does variety content. And she's been popular for, I want to say she's been popular for as long as I've been online. Like, I feel like she was doing League content when I was, like, 13 or 14, you know? I don't remember a time where Pokimane was not a big content creator, probably just because it's been so long. So, for as long as she's been popular, she's gotten hate, though. That's the thing. Big, prominent female figure, even if she keeps her nose clean, of which she typically does. She's got a couple of controversies, none of them that serious, though. She's kept her nose pretty clean, but naturally, regardless, she has gotten absolute fuckloads of hate. And once again, a new wave of it is coming through. I've covered some dramas that she's been involved in the past because she's such a large figure, though it has been a while and I haven't really kept up on the Twitch scene lately, so I'm a little behind on what the state of things are. Though I will say, and this will be relevant to the story, the last thing I heard about Pokimane, well, I should say the last two things I heard about Pokimane, because they kind of tie in together. The first of those last two things was that Pokimane was going to be launching a business where she would be selling cookies, like healthy cookie snack alternatives that were, you know, basically a relatively unoriginal, just like chocolate cookie with like cream yogurt or fake yogurt kind of chips in the cookie, and they're like little bite-sized things, and you know they're supposed to be like a nice healthy snack. I'm pretty sure they're like a little more healthy than the average stuff, right? Like they were just like her little business venture she went on, right? A lot of people gave her shit for this, particularly for the pricing. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. You know, YouTuber starts a business outside of YouTube, people are going to scrutinize it. It suggests that you're in this for the money. It's kind of a bad look, right? But then, about, God, I want to say 6 months later, long enough that, like, the heat had died down on that whole drama, but short enough that, like, it doesn't seem like she's trying to make it be a long time for some reason, you know what I mean? Like, she came out and announced that she would be turning off donations and subscriptions on her Twitch channel, thus making it impossible for her fans to financially support her out of their own pockets anymore. She basically said, I now have enough money to retire today if I wanted to. I do not need you guys to give me your money, so I'm turning off the ability for you guys to do that, even if you want to. And I thought that was giga chat as fuck. The idea that a popular, successful streamer would be like, well, guys, I've made enough money. I could not spend all this if I wanted to. I could retire today. No need for you guys to pay me anymore. I'm just doing this because I like it. You know, like, being able to say that is the dream as a content creator, by the way. Like, that is the dream. To have enough money that you can just say, hey guys, I'm turning off donos and subs. You guys can't pay me if you wanted to. I've got plenty. I could retire tomorrow, but I won't. We're just doing this shit for fun. That's the dream that every content creator wants to achieve. And Pokimane seems to have achieved it. She's got other business ventures. She's got ad revenue and sponsorships she can always make a little extra from to kind of replenish whatever she spends of her savings. And it's like, it makes sense. Like, yeah, okay, she doesn't seem to just be obsessed with making more money, it seems, right? And I was like, okay, cool, based, right? You know, that's cool. However, she didn't get a lot of credit for that. Like, not a lot of people really talked about that and gave her credit. That's a big deal, you know? Like, I've never, ever heard of a creator doing this that does YouTube or streaming full time. I've never heard of this. Granted, there are not a lot of creators who could afford to do that, but of the ones who could, I've never seen one say, I've got enough money now, stop paying me. I don't need it. You know, I've never seen a big multi-millionaire YouTuber say that, or streamer say that. And Pokimane was the first, right? Or at least the first I know of. And I thought that mattered. I thought that was a big deal. A pretty significant statement about what matters to her as a content creator. Maybe I'm falling for some kind of, like, skeevy propaganda trick she's going for. It's possible. But, like, from my view, that seemed very sincere. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, though. A couple days ago, she was, I think, on a trip somewhere, traveling, you know, doing an IRL vlog in a city, right? And I think it's the clip of her on, like, a boat where she says, and I don't know the context of it, but she says that she hates rich people, almost in, like, a sort of, like, frustrated way, you know? And everyone is jumping down her throat for this now, because she is rich. She is actually rich. So her saying she hates rich people comes off as weirdly hypocritical, right? Yeah, but if she is still able to get ad revenue, is it sincere? Felonious, I think there's a big difference between, like, you watching my video means I make money from the corporation that hosts my video, and you watching my video and voluntarily giving up money you worked for that you could spend on yourself to the creator, right? Like that, like cutting off the ability for your own fans to give up their money to you is the based thing, not the cutting off your ability to make money through content creation. That the based part is saying, guys, I don't need your money, stop giving it to me, you can't anymore. Like, that's the super cool based thing. That's what makes it sincere, is that there is no way to bypass that and still, like, donate to her, you know? Yeah, well, it's not direct funds. Like, what ad revenue does not cost the viewer anything, is what I mean to say, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's a thing they can do. Streamers, yeah, they can do that. Like, if they're big enough and they have the money to not need more donations or subs, they could do it. Like, Pokimane did it. It's not that crazy of an idea. They just want more money, even when they have enough. Regardless, though, Pokimane did this, and everyone's now jumping down her throat again. Another big wave of drama, nothing all that new. And I figured if we're going to look into this whole situation, and I'm going to give my thoughts on this sort of slop drama, who better to watch, talk about it, and respond to about it, because you know you're going to hear the worst takes from this guy, than the ultimate slop creator, Asmin Gold. I got the 2-minute long Asmin Gold clips video here of him talking about how Pokimane fucked up real bad. No wonder these videos do so fucking well, and Asmin Gold's gotten so big. They're all so clickbaity. They know the algorithm. I'll give you that. Let's enjoy the slop and see what is going on.
What is this? Pokimane hates the rich?
Do you think someday we'll have a revolution like that in America and we hate the rich?
We? Who's this we?
Do you think someday we'll have a revolution like that in America?
So that's a clip of her, like, asking somebody if there'll be a revolution in America, a communist revolution where the rich are overthrown. Kind of seems tone deaf, you know? Like, I feel like streamers will, like, say shit like that. Like, successful streamers will say shit like that and forget, oh, fuck. Most people would literally kill to do what I do and to have what I have. Shit, that comes off real bad, you know? So, tone deaf to say, but, you know, plenty of people say things that are tone deaf on accident. It's not a sin.
I love how people like this say it as if you wouldn't be one of the first ones to get in the guillotine. Fuck yeah, you'd be the first one! Who's this?
This is the wrong response. There's not going to be any communist revolution. The people who say this shit are LARPers, and more often than not even LARPers, just people who are pissed off about, like, barely being able to survive financially while there are people out there that are currently trying to decide whether their next super yacht will be in white or, like, blue. And the idea of that is just so infuriating. It's like, God damn it, eat the rich. When's the revolution happening? We need to Minecraft these. Like, it's easy to start Fed posting and talking about revolution if you are even a somewhat class-conscious person experiencing daily life in the American market these days. It's just the kind of thing that people say. I don't really think there's any actual risk of revolution, by the way. Also, I'm going to hit you guys with the real leftist theory here, because I have read the holy books, the Minecraft enchanting language tomes that are leftist theory, and pokimane would be what is known as petite bourgeoisie, which is to say someone who is wealthy or well off. You might consider them like upper class for sure, but they're not like a massive capital owner. In socialism and communism, it's not so much the rich that are called out or demonized. Like, those who hold and own lots of wealth are not like the bad guys in communist or socialist literature. It is always specifically capital owners. Those who are so wealthy, they own shitloads of land with resources, and they're so wealthy they can pay an army of workers to do a task, to make a building. Maybe they own a ton of property, and so they can rent out properties for businesses. Like, that's a capital owner. That's the kind of rich person that socialist and communist literature and theory actually targets with its criticism and its like deconstruction. Not like let's say you own a mom and pop bagel shop, man, that rhymed, in like a relatively small town, and the whole town figures out, holy shit, these are the best bagels in town, and you quickly start making a 7-figure income off your like small mom and pop town. Like, you are a millionaire now that can afford a nice big house from running your business. That is not like a capital owner in the way that like Marxist theory defines it and calls it out, right? Like, that person would be petty bourgeoisie.
Sweet.
Not petty, petite bourgeoisie.
Right? It's getting there, right?
We already have one.
Another one.
Also, Asmin Gold, what I love about this, by the way, is that Asmin Gold's whole brand is being kind of a slimy shithead. And so Asmin Gold, who is far richer than Pokimane, for sure. Like, Asmin Gold is definitely richer than Pokimane. I have a feeling. And so when you know that, granted, he doesn't really spend the money. He just kind of hoards it like a dragon. It's, it's sitting somewhere in a pile. Knowing that he is richer, he can't do the whole, like, oh, well, you're rich, and kind of, like, get, like, if Asmin Gold wasn't super rich or was less rich than Pokimane, he would be doing the whole, you're not working class like us, you don't know what it's like. He would be trying to play that game against her, but he can't. So instead, he's, I guarantee you, gonna do the whole thing like, I'm rich, I know I'm rich, I don't try to pretend I'm not, I don't try to shit talk rich people, Also, you'll see a lot of people in Asmin Gold's comments talking as if they have any money whatsoever, getting offended on behalf of rich people. Very, very funny stuff.
The wealth disparity is getting bad.
She's right. She is.
The wage gap, I hate that shit.
Okay. I don't know who that guy is, but that might have been the most... I don't know who this guy is. He seems like he might be a professional soccer player or something. I don't even know. Does that look like a team jersey for a soccer team he's wearing? I don't even know. He's clearly famous enough to be hanging out with Pokimane. Is it like her boyfriend or something? That was the dumbest thing I've heard about it. Like, the wealth disparity is getting so extreme. He says, yeah, that wage gap, bro. Listen, he's laying out the riz as best he can. He's like, okay, she's progressive, all right? Those progressive women, they like to hear about the wage gap, right? Yeah, the wage gap, yeah. Like, that's what he's doing right now. Anyway. I like the Asmin Gold laugh at that line when it's literally true. I mean, he admits it's literally true, but, like, yeah, I like... People who are wealthy or well off with a large platform are allowed to call out problems that the other 99.9% of people in the country are facing. In fact, I think it's actually good when people who have an audience of millions of people speak out about these things and make it a, well, you know, Asmin Gold thinks it's like gay to be someone who speaks out about anything, frankly, unless it's like speaking out against wokeness in games or something. But if you actually care about anything that's not right-wing culture war nonsense related to gaming or whatever, and you speak out about it, Asmin Gold and his fan base think that's like cringe and gay or whatever.
She is.
The wage game, I hate that shit.
He's talking about like the men and women shit, right? Like that's totally different.
No wealth disparity. Wage gap is like between men and women.
This is like some guy being on a date with like a hyper political girl, and he's like, yeah, for sure.
Men and women, we love each other.
That is true.
And
That
we
is the
hate
vibe.
rich.
Aren't you the rich?
No.
Fucking bro.
Oh, like the ultra rich. The ultra.
The ultra rich.
You ever see a moment where you wish you could possess someone's body for like 20 seconds and just speak for them and get them out of a horribly embarrassing situation? Like, all she had to say there was, when I talk about the rich, I don't mean people who have a few $1 million set away. I mean people who own capital. People who own so much land that you have to buy raw materials and resources from them if you want to build any type of manufacturing within 1,000 miles of that location, right? That is the place to get it. They own that land, right? They have enough money to pay an army of workers. And they have that army of workers. That's having capital. That's being a capital owner. We're talking about levels of wealth here way beyond what any streamer could make through donations and sponsorships and ad revenue in a lifetime, right? Remember, like, wealth and richness is a cumulative, like, massive deal, you know? Granted, there's a reason why 1% of people own 90% or something, or 50% of the wealth in this country. 50% of this country's wealth is a lot, okay? And that 1% of people are very few, and it's because a handful of people are so rich on the higher end of the spectrum. They basically, if it weren't for the quality of life disparity between the average working class person and the average, like, you know, lower end of rich person, let's say pokimane level rich person, if it weren't for the disparity in life quality that, like, the average American would kill for the life of, like, pokimane's wealth, if it weren't for that, you would look at, like, how rich someone like Pokimane is, or how rich someone like Asmin Gold is, and compare it to, like, your Bezoses, your Elons, the people at the very top, and you wouldn't even consider them part of the same group. You would lump in these multimillionaires with the working class of America if you saw a sliding graph that showed, like, here is where the average American is, here's where the average American is, here's where the average, like, multimillionaire is, here's where Jeff Bezos and Elon are, right? Like, you'd be like, okay, so that's a big gap. That's a big gulf, right? And that is true. That is the people on the far end of that big gulf are the people who have billions of dollars that are really hoarding the wealth, that should be paying more of their fair share and not using loopholes such as owning assets or having offshore bank accounts to avoid paying their fair share in taxes. Like, there's good points being made here.
Rich, I'm sorry, but if your net worth is over $10 million, your head's going on the chopping block. Oh, not ultra rich. Oh, no, it's different.
The
You have to
unnecessarily rich.
clarify.
There's not going to be a chopping block because people talking about revolution and communism are like college age, like 1 million people in all of America, maybe college age. They go through like a 1.5 year phase of radical communism in college, and by the time they get out, half of them are frankly going to be like Catholic converts. Okay, like, there's not going to be a revolution. There's never going to be a leftist revolution in America. We're closer to a fascist populist takeover than that, where Americans take to the streets with guns to enforce fascism, than we are to them going out to, like, force their fair, to get their fair wage, okay? We're so far from class consciousness, it's not even it's not even funny.
You
The
gotta
ultra
say
giga
the
rich.
billionaires.
The billionaires.
you are rich.
The Bezos.
You can't be saying that.
I am. I'm rich in friendship.
He is. I like how this man is not a man with a very, like, verbose rhetorical skill, but nonetheless, what he's saying is real as fuck. Like, you are rich. You can't be saying that. Like, he's calling out, like, he predicted exactly what the response was going to be when she said this. You know, he outright told her, like, hey, you gotta, Pokimane, you're rich. You gotta be careful. People are gonna get mad.
Well,
You can't
he's
say
also
that.
just rich. Here's what you need to understand about influencers courting and memeing around revolutions. The only reason why they do it is because they think that they won't be a victim. I've got to tell you, you'll be one of the first ones.
No. I'm gonna be honest. Like, Asmin Gold's calling out a tendency that I do find cringe, and I still disagree with him because he's not calling it outright. Hassan, I am pretty certain at this point Hassan's a grifter, okay? Maybe not like everything he believes or his left-wingedness is a grift. More so that when he notices a certain type of rhetoric that maybe isn't 100% what he would normally say or believe publicly, resonates more with his target audience, and he gets more views and more clout, he goes with what gets him the most views and clout, you know? Like, I'm not saying his whole persona in politics is a grift, but I think, like, you know, he kind of tweaks things here and there to make sure that he's getting the most clout off of what he's saying, right? He follows what his audience wants. I think he's extremely audience captured. Hassan gets to wear, I believe it was, like, totaled up that this outfit was, like, $2,500. Recently, there was an event he spoke at where he wore a separate $3,000 outfit, it was total up to be. So Hassan doesn't leave the house without wearing a car on his body, basically, a used car. Like the amount of money, if you pawned his outfit, you could go buy an okay used car anytime he leaves the house. You know, like, if you need a used car, go rob Hassan while he's on his way to the grocery store. His clothes will get the job done. You know, like, that'll be enough, right? $2,500 for that? What the fuck? His style sucks. I don't like his style. It's not my cup of tea, but what can I say? It works for him, you know? He's way more successful in every metric than I am. How can I talk shit about his style? Regardless, though, people don't get mad about it. That's the thing. Like, people have called him out for it. You can say, like, oh, Hassan only says this because he thinks he won't get guillotined or whatever if the revolution happens. He knows there will be no revolution. He knows he is just pandering to an audience for money and for clicks and clout. He knows what he's doing. He knows there's no actual threat to wealthy people. That's why he's so comfortable being wealthy and advocating for the wealthy to pay. You know what I mean? He enjoys being extremely wealthy in a rich capitalist country with a high quality of living, if you are wealthy, enjoys all the luxuries of being a wealthy person, and all the while likes to criticize the hyper wealthy to an audience of people who will never see the amount of success he has because that's what they want to hear. It's audience capture.
Is because they think that they won't be a victim. I've got to tell you, you'll be one of the first ones. Because it'll make a big splash. You're killing all of the celebrities.
Does Asmin Gold think there is going to be a communist revolution? I guess he's just speaking, like, hypothetically. If there was one, then Hassan would be the first to go. Probably not, though, right? Like, if there actually was a socialist revolution, they would all be, like, tanky Hassan fans, right? Wouldn't they? I don't know. I see Zan's point on Pokimane. She reached a goal, an amount that'll make her happy. She's done. So many do not seem to have a limit, not YouTubers, but the obscenely wealthy. Yeah, like, I think it's a big deal. Like, I think this is... I've always thought to myself that if I became super successful on YouTube and I hit a point where I made, I don't know, how much do I think I could never spend in my life? Let's say 10 million. Like, if I had 10 million right now, I think I could live on that for the rest of my life. Buying a house would probably be a big hit to it or whatever, but, like, once you've got a house and that's paid off completely in cash, presumably, like, you're pretty good. Like, that's a big, like, cost month by month that you've dealt with, right? Like, I can't imagine wanting more money, you know? And I would hope that if I ever felt that success, I would not just want more money. I would hope that I'd actually go and do the pokimane thing where I say, you know what? I've got $10 million in my savings. I could retire tomorrow. I don't need my fans to donate anymore, and just turn that setting off. I'd like to think I'd do the exact same thing. I don't know if I would if I had that level of success. So many creators end up, just wanting to raise that score. Weak criticism. If you're poor and criticize, you're jelly. If you're rich, you're a class traitor who should be more thankful. Okay, so I see where you're coming from there, Crapo Zappo. I used to criticize people who criticized Hassan for this back in the day, because Hassan, for a while, was just wealthy, but wore, like, expensive clothes. And he did have, like, an expensive car, sure. But, like, then Hassan started to really lean into it. Like, to the point now where he does not leave the house without a multi-$1,000 outfit on. There is a big deal between, like, your J's being a few $100, and it's like, those are my nice shoes, don't fuck them up, or I will fight you, because I spent good money on those, and those are my nice sneakers. There's a big difference between that and his whole outfit whenever he leaves the house. Differing outfits, by the way, he's got a big walk-in closet, I'm sure, is thousands of dollars, not counting jewelry. It's like, dude, that is a level of flexing that is a whole different world from this idea of, like, you can't be rich and a socialist. That is not what's being said here. Hassan's rich and flexes and is a socialist who virtue signals about how much rich people are cringe. But he also loves to flex, and he pretends it's ironic. The clip we're seeing right now is him ironically flexing his brand new supercar.
Of course they would do that. What are you talking about? It's really damaging for the movement of people that are trying to be, a force for social change, to be absolutely fucking antithetical in their lifestyle.
And I don't care. I live on a basic necessity budget for the most part anyway.
It looks really bad.
That also, Hassan doesn't just, like, make a lot of money and that's it. Hassan literally claims that he lives on a minimum budget. He says shit like that. That's like, ooh. That's way more cringe than what Pokimane said. Let's be real. That's way more cringe than what Pokimane said. Dude, you want to know what I would be most excited about if I had Hassan level money? The amount of chicken I could afford. I've started bulking. I know why Hassan is constantly eating on stream. And I can't really give him shit for it. I can't. He streams like, what, 10, 12 hours a day? He has to eat through a lot of his stream if he's going to hit his macros. He's got it. I would guess Hassan needs 4,000 calories a day to bulk. 3,500 plus. Between 3,500 and 4,000 calories a day to bulk. And if he doesn't want to gain a lot of fat as he's bulking, it needs to be like chicken and spinach. That's why he's always eating like a salad of like chicken and rice or chicken and salad or something. 4,000, damn. Yeah, Hassan's like 6'2", maybe 180 to 200 pounds of muscle, like bulked muscle. The more muscle you have and the bigger you are and the taller you are and the more bulking you've done, the more calories you need to bulk more. So Hassan's at the point with how buff he is, how tall he is, and how like large of a dude he is in frame, and how much he's already bulked. He probably has to eat a meal every 30 minutes to an hour. Like, yeah, I don't know. When I was doing manual labor, I had to eat more than 4,000 calories a day. Hassan might need a little less because he's so sedentary in his lifestyle, but he still has to work out. So he's definitely spending calories. Anyway, my main point is, I kind of get why Hassan's always eating on stream. Like, I get it. I'm eating all throughout the day right now, and I'm always full. Like, my break from eating is when I'm on stream, and sometimes even then, I grab myself a snack just to have some calories get in me between, like, when I take my bathroom break, I'll go upstairs and I'll grab a snack and quickly eat it. Because you got to keep the calories flowing. Got to keep the calories flowing to bulk.
When you have all of these people who are talking about how great socialism is, when these people live lives of luxury. If a person doesn't live what they preach, they probably don't believe it that much, do they? Let's just use some common sense.
Plus 300 calories above maintenance is the max. Anything more is just making you fat. That is true, XD P King, but your maintenance calories, the amount of, like, the total amount of calories you need a day to get about 300 above your maintenance rises. Like, your maintenance amount rises with the amount of muscle you have. Muscle sedentarily eats calories. It eats energy. Your muscles take a lot of calories just existing to keep there before your body starts dissolving them, I guess. And so as you get more bulked up, your maintenance calories goes up. You have to eat more just to keep what you have, and then you have to eat even more to get more muscle. That's what I'm explaining right now. That's the thing that, yeah, anyway. My fitness stun lock aside, I really think that, like, all of the streamer discourse around wealth and money is fucking toxic and cancer. Like, I hate it. I really, really do. It feels like the least deserving people get targeted with the criticism for having money while criticizing the wealthy. Like, Pokimane is not Hassan out there day and night, like, calling for the rich to pay, you know? Hassan is. You know, like, it's funny that, like, I'm sure plenty of the people criticizing Pokimane watch Hassan. I'm sure plenty of the people who will criticize Pokimane won't criticize Hassan when given the opportunity. And it's weird how there are double standards here. I'm sure it could be a little bit due to misogyny, but I think it also has to do with the fact that, like, right now, certain streamers are, like, grandfathered into having, like, a hyper audience-controlled, like, sycophantic cult-like fan base that won't call out, like, blatantly cringe stuff like this. But Pokimane seems to have an audience that will call out a cringe moment like that, and that's why we're seeing this drama go down. Still pretty sad to see. Still pretty sad to see. Regardless, though, if you enjoyed this video, and you watched all the way to the end, you should let me know by leaving a comment down below saying, what should the comments say? Oh, Asmin Gold, the roach is here. Like the Peter, the horse is here. Comment that. Asmin Gold, the roach is here. Comment that down below if you watched this far. It'll let me know you watched all the way to the end, and your comments will boost the channel and the algorithm, helping the video and my channel to do way better and reach a lot more new people. It really means a lot and helps immensely. Thank you to everybody who does that. Same goes for leaving a like. If you do both those things, it really helps. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon as well so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future as well. And don't forget, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias linked down below, especially you want to join my fan Discord, the main hub of my community and fan base. I host gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, and all sorts of live events there every week on Fridays. And announce all my new uploads and streams there too, so you won't miss anything if you join. Finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xanderhall Studio, you can donate, you can subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xanderhall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.